Here is the first mystery lilies. They're just starting to open up. They call them mystery lilies because they just come up out of the ground. These are ruby Stella daylilies. Morning, it's July 16th at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm out here so early because it's been so hot lately. It's been over 90 most every day and raining every night or in the evening. So let's go walk about the garden and see what's going on. The mosquitoes have been awful, so that's why I've got long sleeves on. If you come out here with bare legs, the mosquitoes are all over you in no time. I've been spending a lot of time going around making sure there's no standing water everywhere. These are my roses, they're blooming. And actually these are just cheap, those bagged roses at Walmart. And this one here is a Mr. Lincoln. I've had it for a couple years, and I just moved it over here last year. I dug it up, moved it over here. Strangely enough, after I dug it up, another one grew up in its place. And so now I got two of them. My hibiscus started blooming, and the blooms on it are bigger than your hand. And this hibiscus here just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And the hibiscus in zone 5 here dives back to the ground and leaves these sticks like hardwood, so I cut those to the ground, and here's older ones there. But this thing is getting so big I have to trim it off here so it doesn't go out across the sidewalk. You can see where I cut that one off. And I probably should have cut this one off, but now that it's got all these buds on it, I hate to do that. There's still room to walk out here though. And my trumpet vine started blooming this year, and I made a video when I planted this a few years ago. I got it from Gurney's. And here's some of the blooms right here. This one's getting ready to bloom, and this one already has. There. And this thing just grows crazy. You have to I've been just using grass clippers to prune this off. It just grows out over where we're walking, so I have to prune it every few days. And this is some moonflowers I planted here in a concrete block down there. You can see all the rain from last night. We even had a high wind or a tornado warning last night for a brief period. And my tiger lilies are just finishing up. Everything is dripping with water. And here I got some cheap seeds, and put them in these flower pots, and then put them in a basket. And here's some nasturtiums and moonflowers I planted over here in a concrete block. And there's another trumpet vine bloom down there. I planted these trumpet vines oh, there's more coming on right there, because they're supposed to be, hummingbirds are supposed to like them. So I haven't seen any hummingbirds yet, but here's some honeysuckle that I planted. It smells so good when you come out the door when it's blooming. This is just getting ready to bloom. This is the hardy salvia. And I think next year I'm going to dig it up. Maybe I'll dig it up this fall. I'm going to start my fall transplanting in September, I believe, because you want to have that 6 to 8 weeks before your first frost. So I'm going to dig that salvia up in September and put it over here. Oh, and right here, it's my mystery lilies, or surprise lilies. They have foliage that looks just like daffodils, and it's at the same time of year as daffodils. So you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, but it dies back with the daffodils, and then in July it sends up this bloom stalk, and watch for next week's garden tour, and they'll be blooming by then, and I'll show you can see what they look like. And these are some geraniums I just wintered over in the house, and they are doing so much better since I brought them out here. They weren't that big of plants. And this right here is a hardy geranium, a cranesbill geranium. This is actually a pelargonium, which is not a true geranium, but when you say geranium, that's what everybody thinks of. But it's growing here right next to a true geranium, which is commonly called a cranesbill geranium or something. And here is, I planted this from seed this spring. Here's another one I planted from, not seed, a bare root. I bought the bare roots and planted those geraniums this spring. I can already see the mosquitoes gathering around me. It's a good thing I wore this. Although it's a little bit warm. This is another hardy geranium I planted in here from bare root. And you can see that all the rain has washed away some of the dirt over the roots. And here's more of it coming up here. I need to go back out and get some potting soil out back and bring it around and put it over there, over those roots that got uncovered. And this one here, this is a hardy geranium that's been here for years and years. But yeah, they're all done blooming for now, I believe. But here it is, but it's been growing all over in this flower bed. Although some of these old bloom stalks, I'm thinking about cutting those back a little bit. And all along the side here, the edge of this flower bed, this is yarrow here. I planted it here a few years ago, and it's not bloomed yet, but it sure is growing good. Look at all that new growth in there. It's getting, I think I'm going to take these peonies out of here. I think that one of the things you have to do is get rid of the flowers you don't like. I need to trim off these tiger lilies that have done blooming, because it just makes seeds in there and it wastes all the plant energy. You know, all along here I've been putting wood chips down, and then next year is for edging, and because it was always have grass in here we have to pull up. But for edging, I'm going to put down some starts off of these creeping phlox that are right here, because they're crawling all over the sidewalk. And so I'm trying to get things off of the sidewalk so people can walk by. But yeah, I'm going to, these just root right along the stems. They're not rooting here because they're on concrete. So I'm going to take those and spread them out all along here, because by next year these wood chips will be a nice place to start things in. They'll be composted enough, and you can just push them aside and the dirt underneath them will be really good. And hopefully they'll keep all the grass and everything down in here, so I won't have to be constantly pulling everything up. This here is viburnum, And this shrub has, a few years ago I planted it. On alternate years I come back and cut it way down to the ground, and it keeps coming back. And birds like these berries. So now it makes the berries in July, because shrubs always fruit on new growth. So if they bloom before July, then you need to prune them after they're done blooming. If it blooms after July, then you cut them in the early spring or the late fall so that they can have new growth to bloom on. Here, this is a yellow twig dogwood. I'm just going to take it out. It's not really. This is a cicada. Must be the 7th year. They live in the ground for 7 years and then hatch or come up, and then they lay more eggs, and in another 7 years you got a bunch of cicadas. If I tell my grandson about the cicadas, he says, they're not all cicadas. And I says, well, what do you mean? And he says, well, some are cicadas. Oh, okay. These things are a lot easier to pull up too in the bark chips. So I just put down the bark chips and either cut or pull the weeds up. These are phlox. I think I just planted these here last year. Look at all the blooms that are coming on. This is July. Look at all the blooms that are coming on. It's been blooming quite a bit. So this is oh, here's a stalk fell over here because of all the rain. These bark chips make really good soil for your plants to be growing in. Our city gives them away free if you just go out and get them. When they trim the trees, they turn them into bark chips. And they have a place out near the sanitary district where they dump all the wood chips, and city residents can also bring their branches out and dump them. This is another hibiscus out here. Sometimes I think about moving it up closer to the bird bath. They like a lot of water. This is last year's growth here. I didn't cut it quite so low to the ground. This is morning glory. I don't want it out here crawling all over everything. This is a crocroxamia. It has leaves like this here. And I bought this from Brex, I don't know, several years ago. And it's just been steadily increasing because you only get one plant. But look at how it's been, how it's. I should take out some of this catnip so there's less competition for it. I would take out this peony, but it's one of the peonies I like because it's not the only peony I like. I'm going to take out all the other ones though. Yeah. Here's this dogwood I'm going to cut out, the yellow twig dogwood. And this is a dogwood I'm going to keep. This is a variegated dogwood. I might trim it way back. I usually trim it way back. And these are some daisies that are about done, but they sure have been going crazy over here. And here is the foliage on them. And these here are Stargazer lilies. It looks like they're about done. They don't stand up very well though. I wonder if all lilies fall over like that. I don't know. But and there's another one right here. Here's some more of the seeds. I just threw them in a basket with potting soil. And some worked and some didn't. I think the seeds I bought the middle of the summer before just because I saw them on sale. And these are coneflowers. I think I didn't start these from seed. I bought them in a pot somewhere, probably at some place I was at with sold plants. And they've been growing here now for a few years. They're doing really well. You can see they're about chest high. This is an oak leaf hydrangea. I keep cutting it down to the ground because I don't much care for it. And of course these lilies are all done, so I cut off where the blooms were so they make more bulbs instead of seeds. Here's one little thing growing in there. Here's some more of those hardy geraniums I bought, and I planted some over here. Here's some more. I got like 5 of them, you know, like an assortment, and planted some over here. And this is another hibiscus I got. All these blooms coming on. This is the bad thing about just setting pots outside. Here the animal has been digging in this. Some animal, I don't know, probably a squirrel. And this is a columbine I put over here. I started those from seed a couple years back, and out back, and all the seedlings keep coming up every year. So every year I put a couple more out front over here. And this lemon lily, it's got a few more blooms coming on. Yeah, there's a few more. But I'm going to dig it up and put some there and some there on each side of the path here. And these are ruby Stella daylilies. I think it'd be pretty with the lemon lilies right there next to the hibiscus. And this is the sweet William here. A few more blooms. It's pretty well done though. I wish it had reseeded stuff all over the place in there. And there is some more of those mystery lilies. You can see that they don't send up anything but a stalk with the bloom on it in July. Over here I planted a bunch of coral bells. Here's one right here. I just from bare root this year. I got a bunch of alpine strawberries growing in here. They have little teeny berries about the size of the tip of your finger that I think birds really like. And here's some coral bells I planted last year. And here's some I planted here this year. And here's the brunera. Here's some more coral bells that have been here for about a year. And they're you can see they're blooming right now. Well, here's some more Stargazer lilies laying over on the ground, of course. I don't like to stake my plants up. I like a more wild garden. Here's some columbine I moved up here last year. And here's this damn creeping thing. Now this area here, it was just wild, covered with vinca minor. You can't pull up. It's too hard to pull up. It's too hard to get rid of. One way to dig is to dig it up or to cover it up. So right now I'm covering it up. Just gradually get more and more wood chips every weekend. We hit some high winds last night, so you can see there's a lot of branches all over the ground, including one right here. This was a honeysuckle bush, and I almost cut it down, but Julie didn't want me to because all the birds love to sit on it, but it keeps dropping all these seedlings everywhere. There was several of those small plants growing in here that had been dropped, and they managed to germinate in the midst of all the vinca minor. But I'm just going to keep covering this up for the rest of the year, and then maybe next year I can plant things in it. I ordered from Brex some English bluebells, and this is a coral bell that's been here for several years. It just keeps dividing into more and more crowns. Look, there's two right here. There's more. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I think I'm just going to leave it there too. And this is another hardy geranium that's been here for several years. I lost track of how long ago it was when I planted this, but it don't bloom much because I don't think it gets enough light over here. And this ground cover is a mixture of vinca minor and lamium right there. The lamium is not such a bad ground cover. I just planted this fern here this year. And that hosta's been growing there for several years. And then this area is next. Once I get that area cleaned up, this area is next. That's a dwarf cherry bush back there, but it doesn't make many cherries. This is a rhododendron, a huge old rhododendron that's been here for many years, 20 or 30 years when I planted that. And you can see I planted the lamium around it for a ground cover, and look how it's spread out all the way through here. And this is I think this is a summon substance hosta. This has got the biggest leaves of any hosta I've ever seen. Look at that. And this is a Lenten rose, but it's been covered up by the hostas. So it doesn't like to be messed with. It has a long taproot. Oh, it's been blooming all summer long. Look at that. So I don't know if I'm going to dig it up this spring or not. And there's a hardy geranium back in there, right here. It's just barely staying alive. I'll definitely dig it up in the fall. Move it somewhere where I can do better. And these are all raspberries here. And there were raspberries over here, but they were, we weren't eating that many. So this one is still there. These are seeds that I planted. I covered this area with wood chips like I was doing up there for about a year, and then just rake the wood chips back and just broadcast, just threw the seeds down in there. Of course the grass gets in there. This is grass right here. And this right here. There. Oh, there's a whole bunch of it. I don't know what all these other seeds are. Here's the package. Kind of wet now. Wildflowers from Fairy Morris. They did really well. And I just bought these seeds at Menards. I can get the package back on there. I just bought those seeds at Menards. Same here. These are morning glories. They drop seeds everywhere. A few of them are nice, but they reseed like crazy. I'm just picking the grass out of here. With all the rain we've been getting every day, the grass is just growing like crazy. And sometimes I hate to pull it up because I don't want to pull up the seedlings that it's growing next to. So, but there's getting to be so much in here. And see, here's more glorious growing here. More over here. These are cosmos that volunteered, and I was actually thinking about digging them up because we're getting all this rain, digging them up in the middle of the year like this and taking them out front. But I'd probably have better luck just planting more seeds next year. Here's some asparagus that's all laying down. I need to put some wires across the post or something here to hold them up. And here's more tiger lilies. They do better when they don't have all that competition like the ones out front. These are hollyhocks. They kind of fell over. I got tons of strawberries growing in here. This is a blueberry. I had one blueberry this year. I need to get some. It'd be nice if I could put blueberries all along here. If I get some money, I'll do that next year. When I pull up all these pieces of grass, I need to put them in something and put them in my compost tumbler there, because I've noticed that you throw them on the ground and they just keep on growing. Like this here. I've already pulled this up once. Still growing. And this is sage, I believe. And these are this is a flower I grew last year and I can't remember what it's called. Forget-me-nots. These are forget-me-nots that volunteered, I believe. And here's another strawberry coming on right there. Look at that. Another one there. Oh, there's all kinds of them coming on. Huh. This is the first year in this garden here. Here's some cucumbers up there. Oh, this big one right there. Look at that. I have to eat those today. This is a marigold. These are onions. There's tomatoes. and beets. And this is California poppies that volunteered. These are 4 o'clocks that volunteered, and those are 4 o'clocks that they must have volunteered too, because I didn't plant them. And I probably didn't pull them up because you can tell what they are. And these are mushrooms growing in the wood chips, which is a good sign because they're decomposing. These are wildflowers. I just scattered them in here. Here's where those, look at the columbines all over in here. They just keep volunteering all over the place. And these are 4 o'clocks that are volunteering. I should put some cosmos over here. And there is a poppy that I planted back here. Oh, and here is a morning glory that keeps volunteering. I let them grow on this post, but not too much other place. Also on this post, I've got blaze climbing roses and clematis and honeysuckle, and all that stuff is not doing so well because I crowded everything in there so much. Oh, you can see the morning glories blooming over here. There's a morning glory. And they're very pretty flowers, but they'll just take over everything if you let them. Here's new blooms coming on and everything. And see, that bloom is about as long as my finger. And you can see how wide it is. But I just don't let them grow anywhere else because they just take over. And they just keep coming back every year on their own. They're not hardy here. I don't think they're even annuals. They are annuals, so. Okay, well, I'm going in. Thanks for watching, and I hope you like my garden, and please subscribe. I would really like it. Maybe I can make some more money to put in those blueberries back there. And I'd like to get some other plants too, so you can watch how those things grow. So please subscribe, and I will talk to you again next week. And thanks a lot. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.